Hill Climb Racing is a mobile game that was released in September of 2012, which makes it 12 years old as of today. The gameplay is simple. You are a man named Bill that gets to drive cars in different locations. Though the locations do get harder and harder, with all the money you earn, you can get lots of cool vehicles. It's really just a simple game to kill some time when you're bored. There's no story, or lore, or theme, or secret message. You can safely ignore it. Or at least, that's what most people will tell you. But the only problem is, most people don't really look at games with a careful eye. Because if you look at Hill Climb Racing with a watchful eye, something doesn't add up. There are questions upon questions that pile up higher and higher, contradictions and problems that defy logic. And at the foundation of it all lies something mysterious about this build character that doesn't quite make sense. Most people, you see, they don't even try to find the truth when it comes to Hill Climb Racing. But me, I'm just crazy enough to connect the dots. And you are just awakened enough to want to watch. Of course, if you want to stay ignorant and go on living a normal life like everyone else, you can take the blue pill. But if you want to gaze onto the raw and pure reality that exists underneath the lies, keep watching. But I give you one warning, there's no going back. I want to give a huge thanks to today's sponsor, Acid, for revealing this to me in a dream. Before we get into all the complexities of Hill Climb Racing, what is the most obvious reading of the game? Without relying on any assumptions, outside sources, or weird conspiracy theories, what is the game about? Well, I shouldn't even have to say that destructive alien or supernatural forces are chasing Bill across an empty universe with antagonistic intentions. This is clear and undeniable. Think about it. Bill can drive and drive like a madman in strange locations at rapid speeds. But no matter where he goes or what he does, an invisible, indestructible force chases him without end. I am of course talking about the invisible wall. In Hill Climb Racing, you can go forward as much as you want, but you cannot go back. At least not for long, because behind you there will always be an invisible wall. No matter how much force is applied to the wall, it will not move or break. What is this mysterious thing? Maybe it's an alien ship, maybe it's the tech they're testing at Area 51, with cloaking devices so we don't notice it on Google Maps. Maybe it's a spiritual or divine barrier inflicting judgment on the world. We'll investigate further later, but regardless of its origin, it's clearly dangerous. It has no care for Bill's life, as it will break his neck with ease. So what does this tell us so far? I'm not sure yet. All that we know is something is mysteriously chasing Bill. That would all be a far cry from what I promised. A godlike revelation about the nature of Hill Climb Racing? Heh, more like confused ranting about a vague threat. Well, I thought so too, but we can't give up yet. We need more information, more clues, but where can we find it? Well, at first glance there's really only one source of information about the world of Hill Climb Racing, and it's the stages. The first stages in Hill Climb Racing are pretty unremarkable. In games, we always have a setting, and for a racing game, driving around in generic locations like deserts, countrysides, and highways is pretty standard. If this was all the game had to offer, it would be pretty boring. But as Bill, whoever or whatever he is, progresses financially and in driving capabilities, you gain access to increasingly bizarre and disturbing locations. In fact, before you've even played very long, Bill gains the ability to drive on the moon, and soon after that, you get to drive on Mars. This would take an insane amount of resources, and this could already cause us to speculate about Bill's identity. Due to the immense cost of getting to the moon or Mars, it's an open question whether Bill could be Elon Musk, and the whole of Hill Climb Racing is a prophecy or warning from time travelers or aliens about the dangers of space travel. After all, Bill does canonically own rockets and even has the ability to fly them. But before we can get down some conspiratorial rabbit hole, further investigation of the stages in Hill Climb Racing causes even further confusion. Bill not only explores our solar system, but also an alien planet that canonically exists outside of our galaxy. For any human viewers that currently live on Earth, the nearest major galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy, is over 2 million light years away. This means Bill has had to travel over 10 quintillion miles, and even if he was going insanely fast, this would put conservative estimates of his age at over 2 million years old. That, or Bill can teleport or somehow warp space in a way that defies everything we think we know about physics. Clearly then, there is something strange about the supposed protagonist of Hill Climb Racing. Even when Bill is not millions of miles from our solar system, he still does things that would make any normal person experience mild discomfort. On the moon, Bill has no problem breathing and living without any air. And on Earth, Bill can drive and light itself when he decides to travel on rainbows. Though it may start simple, the setting of hill climb racing spans the whole universe and beyond. The questions about Bill's power don't stop there. Sure, Bill can explore space, but he is not so weak as to be limited to our universe. No, in the HCR world, our universe is just beginning. Enter Prognosis, the 9th dimension of hill climb racing, in a strange plane of reality with space mushrooms, light blue Gatorade, and floating objects galore. Not up to your tastes? You can also enter the digital world of Neon, or the dark, troll-filled land of Ragnarok. Regardless of where you look, it's clear Bill can travel to other dimensions and planes of reality, and they aren't always friendly to him or his vehicles. Unlike our discussions of Bill's exploits out of the galaxy, there's no clear way to put numbers to Bill's feats here. All we know is that somehow he managed to break free of the very confines of reality and enter potentially supernatural realms. How and for what purpose is not yet clear, but what is clear is that Bill is not normal. And given that the invisible walls follow him here too, the whole story of hill climb racing, whatever it is, clearly isn't normal either. Screw Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Bill's power level must far surpass anything we've ever seen in reality, and what this means or where it comes from is a mystery. So Bill can go anywhere and do some weird things, eh? Does this really tell us anything useful? I still don't have a clue who Bill is, what exactly is chasing him, or why any of you should care. If Bill can go anywhere and drive anything, what can we possibly know about him? And how can we narrow down the possibilities? Is his power and the power of what chases him just limitless or beyond human comprehension? My answer is no, or at least not entirely. You see, there's at least one other clue that is really going to shape our understanding of Bill and what this hill climb racing game is really about. This is that Bill can die. In fact, he's pretty good at it too. If you hit the back of his head the wrong way or flip over his car accidentally, it's all over. And this is somewhat puzzling. In fact, all of Bill's limitations raise just as many questions as his powers. Bill can breathe in the vacuum of space, yet he regularly gets beaten to death by the common seagull. Bill can drive on light itself, but he has yet to make a solar-powered car. Bill can warp the very fabric of reality to manipulate the sizes of planets and travel across space, but he can't make a roll cage strong enough to protect his head. Bill can travel through time at an accelerated rate to experience seasons faster than he should, and Bill regularly visits other planes of reality, yet apparently none of these abilities aid him in his battle with the invisible wall. Bill's power seems extremely inconsistent at best, and straight up paradoxical at worst. One minute he's a god, and the next he's just a hillbilly with a Jeep. It doesn't make any sense. We've gone over the most obvious facts about Bill and hill climb racing, and at every turn, we've been met with only more confusion. For the sake of time, I can't go over every vehicle and stage in the game. But I believe I've made my point, namely that there's something deeply perplexing about the nature of hill climb racing. We've exhausted almost all the sources of information in-game, and yet there's so many possibilities. Is Bill in some sort of strange purgatory? Is he a time traveler running from aliens between different dimensions? Is he somehow dying and being reborn in different locations, yet somehow maintaining his vehicle collection across reincarnations? Well, maybe the reason we've run into a brick wall is that we aren't supposed to figure it out solely with in-game information. Maybe the key to understanding hill climb racing is looking at the real world. Enter 2012. We had a US election, a leap year, the Avengers came out, and perhaps most importantly, on December 21st, the world ended. Or, well, it didn't. The 13th Bactun of the Mayan calendar ended, and many thought this signified the end of the world. But it didn't. And so, I guess we're just supposed to believe that the Mayans didn't design their calendar system to predict events that wouldn't affect them so that Hollywood could sell more movie tickets. Instead, the Mayans simply left all of their wisdom to die and gave us no guidance on the future. Or did they? Exactly 90 days before the predicted major event on December 21, a little game called Hill Climb Racing came out. What if hill climb racing is what saved the world from destruction? And what if we don't have any more guidance from the Mayans, because now the official determiner of the future is not the Mayan calendar, but hill climb racing? Sound crazy? Well, there actually is some evidence. Traditionally, the king of the Mayans always drove a Jeep, and the last Mayan king was actually named Bill the who built the moon. Furthermore, please consider the following. Bill drives a Jeep. What's the common part of Jeep culture? Putting ducks on other people's Jeeps. What do ducks do? Quack. What's another meaning of quack? A dishonest, false expert. A spreader of misinformation. And who did they call a spreader of misinformation in 2012? Anyone who believed that the Mayans had predicted the end of the world. The connections are undeniable. Enter Earth's original timeline. Everything happens like normal. We get a leap day, an Avengers movie, an election, yada yada yada. But we do not get a hill climb racing game. And on December 21st, 2012, it happens. The wrath of the Mayan gods is unleashed in the form of giant invisible walls of death. They sweep through cities, destroying buildings, cars, trees, and everything that breathes. Deep in the bunkers of Area 51 lie some of the last survivors. Federal agents who had seen the signs and knew what was to come. The agents sat, curled up in balls, sitting underground, horrified that they would never get to watch Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug, which was set to come out in 2013. All would be lost, were it not for one man. There in the bunker, the last surviving descendant of the Mayan throne and reincarnation of his ancestor, stood Bill the better known to his colleagues as Bill Newman. Combining his magic with Area 51's technology, he made one last-ditch attempt to save humanity. Bill got in his Jeep, drove around on the desolate surface of the Earth, and got the attention of the walls. Right away, as they closed in on him, he opened a portal to the computers inside Area 51. As the walls foolishly chased him into the digital world, he used his powers to send himself and the walls back in time as a file. Without even realizing anything had happened, they continued to chase Bill through time and space. Bill, with his powers, could of course easily change up the environment of the game to make things more entertaining for himself and annoying for the walls. However, he must maintain some illusion of death, so that the walls do not think him immortal and try to escape the digital world. Thus, Bill lives on as a sacrifice, eternally dying and being reborn in a digital universe of infinite possibility. You see, hill climb racing is proof of everything we've been suspecting all along. The Mayans, the monkeys, the Moabs, the Morbius, the M-Bill, the MIB, the MBI, they're all working together. It's so obvious, right in front of your eyes. Why do you even think Bill wears a hat, huh? Do you think it's just a coincidence that a man happens to look like that? He's hiding his brains from the government, and you have to do the same. They are coming for the truth-sayers, the worm eaters. They don't want you to know about the Mayans and what they were warning us of. It's so much worse than you thought. And at the center of this is one name they don't want you to know. Everything is connected to Hey, get away from me! It's Bill. It's Bill. It's always Bill. He's in my walls. They all are.